So, Thomas, looks like somebody finally locked you up in a dungeon.
The dungeon is in Wisconsin, and let me tell you, it is smelly in this area of town. We are getting all kinds of good agricultural aromas that make us wonder whether or not we're playing the game with pickles poop in her crate, or is it smelly outside? And so far, it's been smelly outside.
Well, so you're on your trip to your vacation, and then you're going to meet me in Charlotte next week, right?
Yes. See, if this was Michigan, we'd call it Charlotte, but it is Charlotte because we're in North Carolina.
All right.
I'm not making this up. There's a Charlotte in Michigan.
Okay, and there's a Target and Bon Marché. Okay, well, today, this is kind of what's happening Wednesday. And since you kind of sound like you're talking out of a barrel, I'm probably going to run the show. So buckle up.
Let's do it. I'll mute myself too.
Today, we're going to talk about eBay's new plan to quarantine bad buyers, which sounds a lot to me like one of the Roadrunner episodes where Wile E. Coyote gets hold of Ace Novelty Company and comes up with some plan to explode a wall or something. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to check in on a couple of our experiments to see how they're going. And finally, we're going to give everybody a few tips so they will win if they're ever on Jeopardy, and the category is weird things about eBay and Google. So, are you ready to go?
Yes. It is getting smellier here, so yes, definitely.
You're sure it isn't pickles pooping in the crate?
It's got some herby taste to it.
Well, you farm. Well, now I just spilled coffee or something all over my notes here. Well, evidently this came out today. For me, it came out today anyway, that the senior director of protections said his team was developing technology to help crack down on bad eBay buyers using a predictive approach, which sounds kind of interesting. They're also going to use some third-party vendors to identify shoppers who are engaging in bad buying behavior on platforms outside of eBay, which makes sense. You know, they're going to kind of get together and evidently say, are you being screwed over by the pot?
So, Sally, how's it feel knowing that you're going to have to shop on Amazon now?
Why will I have to shop on Amazon? Oh, stop it. Just
gotcha.
Don't.
Gotcha, Sally. I gotcha.
Not like you're talking in a barrel. It's better you don't talk. So I thought to myself, what, Mr. Boss, what are bad behaviors? What are they identifying? And they say, I'm reading. Number one, there are three types of bad behaviors. One is the buyer files a false claim. The buyer files a not as described claim when in fact it's a remorse return. We've all kind of done that. I agree with that. Number two, the buyer returns a used or damaged item. That's good. Or three, the buyer returns an empty box or a different item. Okay, so then he goes into a slideshow. You can go on YouTube and watch his whole thing, and there are certain spots if you want to click through it that he'll talk about the stuff that's interesting. He said, however, that he really needs our help. You know, eBay always needs the seller's help because people evidently aren't reporting. There only have about 10% of all the claims, only 10% of them have more than one complaint against them. And they're kind of figuring that, you know, bad actors are probably bad acting in more than one. So they're encouraging us. And I'm probably going to agree that, you know, let's give them a shot. Do I think it's going to be real effective? Probably not. I can't tell you why, but sure, I think we should do that. The other thing I didn't quite understand, it said excessive EMBG. EMBG claims, I don't know, or chargebacks.
Let me think. I'll think.
Or chargebacks, especially for newer buyers or buyers who have evidence padding their feedback. So, I think that's kind of interesting, but how they're going to do it is a little bit interesting too. Like I said, I just spilled stuff all over this. they're looking to do more linkage to other accounts across that buyers may have, so they can't come back again if we've caught them before. So they're using third-party vendors who have information about their behavior on other platforms. He calls returning an empty box the same as shoplifting. And eBay says, if they do that, we're going to suspend them from the platform. They hope that we'll report it so they'll get a little more coverage on stuff. And again, if you want to look at this, you can go to the eBay seller check-in video that's running now. And if you go to minute 21.14, it'll talk about bad buyers. You can forget the first 20 minutes. And if you go to 16.46, it'll talk about information on returns. So that'll be kind of interesting to watch to see if they're really going to do something about it, because I think it would be kind of nice. I haven't really had any bad examples of that. I haven't had that happen to me. I haven't been selling that long.
People return the wrong item about every other week to me, and I get basically false sign ads every day. So as soon as you start doing volume, it's a major problem. It's interesting to me that eBay cares about this because it goes in the opposite direction that Amazon is. Amazon doesn't care at all. As long as they get their money, they're fine with it. And they just kind of say, screw the sellers regardless. They're just totally cool with giving the buyer whatever they want, I think. And it really seems like in this situation, eBay's trying to look out for the seller. Now, they could also just be writing this. Who knows if they're actually going to carry it out? I'm guessing this is writing to try to like appease us without any actual follow through.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, but you know, I'm the eternal optimist, and I'm going to go ahead and give them feedback and hope it works. So that's about all I have on what's happened with eBay. And, you know, it's mildly interesting to me. I think that there's so much competition from other platforms that eBay is trying hard to walk that line where they satisfy the seller and satisfy the buyer. For a long time, it seemed like the buyer was, you know, could pull anything. So we'll see how that works. I've got some interesting news for you. First of all, on our 2 experiments, Bill, one of them being our new store, which is the little one that I started to do arbitrage on. You know, it's kind of fun. It was a challenge setting up a second store. I wasn't sure how to do it, but I did. And I don't have it linked to my store. It's Bill's store. And I've got about, I don't know,
well,
7.
I mean, it's on the same internet, right?
What do you mean?
If you're using the same internet and on the same computer, or even a different computer on the same internet, it'll link the 2 accounts.
No, I know how to not make it do that. So it's not doing it. Let's just say it's not doing it.
Cool. It's not doing it. Cool.
I've got them separate. So I set up this little account. I bought a bunch of stuff from Walmart and off of the Brickseek, just little items. You know, I didn't put a lot of money into it. And as you predicted, the price of those has come down since it came down because other people bought them, even though there is a limited supply. But, you know, I can still make $5 or $6 on it. So what I did is put a bunch of stuff up. And here's my starting thing. I put them below what the trending is because I want to get some quick sales, some turns, see if it works. I am doing no returns to see how that works, because it's all new products. And anytime, I think on a new product, it might be fair to not take returns unless it's not as described. But, you know, in a box sealed, I don't want to get it back not sealed. I'm doing a mixture of free shipping and flat rate shipping. And I'm not taking offers because I'm really pricing it aggressively. And we'll see what happens. So I've got 7 or 8 items up. Also, I have somebody else kind of partnering with me on this. He has access to a lot of things that he's just a wizard at picking up stuff like gloves for $1 a pair. I mean, he haunts those places at Walmart, not Walmart, but Home Depot. So he's listing some things too, and we're going to do a split, and we have the coding so we can tell what's his and what's mine. This is really just hoping to see does arbitrage work. And I think this is about a 3-month experiment for me, and then I'm probably going to turn it over to him and let him run it, because I really, it's a lot of a mess with. I think that at least at my level, where you're looking at, you're not buying $1,000 things and reselling them for 1,500. Volume is the game, and I just don't want to mess with. I don't want to mess with it long term. But I find it mildly interesting. I'm going to see how it works. But here's some exciting news on my store. We started about in June. Well, we started this chat in June, and about then I began my relentless bitching about that I just didn't, my cost of sale, my average sale price was low. In fact, it was $18.72 when we started. And I was selling, a reasonable amount of stuff, but it just really bothered me, but it was easy stuff to pick up. So you encouraged me gently to increase my Rolodex on getting some things that we're going to sell at at a higher average price. And you will be pleased. I'm kind of amazed. Compared to June, my sales are down 25%. The number of sales I've had is down 36%. But my average sale price is up from $18.72 to $24.78. So what this is telling me is there is some pain in doing this because there's a learning curve to it. So I've taken a bit of a dip. My earnings are down somewhat. They're down a little bit, but they were never that great. But I think in doing this, I'm making a strategic pivot. So more and more of my 900 items or so are better quality. And I'm also, doing, with your help, a better job at describing them. So it'll be interesting to see. I sold, the stuff is selling, and I'm selling some winter things now. Just for grins, I looked and saw, and typically, it's just predictably, winter is coming, as they said in the show. Shoes and jeans are up. Hats, shorts, and t-shirts are down. Well, it just means we've hit that bump. And I think we're seeing an early move to winter projects. I'm selling winter coats, lined jeans, flannel lined heavy shirts and jackets. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. So today is not going to be a long episode, because I feel like I'm looking, I don't know what I'm looking at exactly, but you're kind of spooky in there. All I can see is your face.
I today, I'm checking a box. I guess it goes that way. I'm checking a box with this call, and you are filling it good. And all I'd like to say is, you're welcome, Sally. Say
For
thank
what?
you, Thomas.
For what?
For raising that sales price.
Okay, and for me, for running today because you're in a hole and you look scary, you're welcome, Thomas. Oh, now we're going to play Jeopardy. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Go for it. Throw it out.
Here is October 15th, 2002 episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What was? That's 20 years ago. Give up?
I'm out. I give up.
Okay. The first instance of Google being used as a verb, as in to Google something, on television occurred on October 15th, 2002 in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Interesting. Okay. The answer, well, I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to ask you the question. That's not Jeopardy, but I'm going to do it anyway. What was the original color scheme for eBay?
Ooh.
Now, what I'm going to tell you again, the company changed the color of the interface slowly and subtly with time, which most customers did not notice.
Well, so I know that more recently and I'm guessing based on what you're telling me, it's not the blue, red, yellow, green that's was it's kind of dark with it.
Well, let me read it to you because your video. It says, not everyone would have noticed, but it was a dark and glaring yellow color background used for the interface. It was during the starting days and it was the original design. But eventually it changed with time and became white. But later on, with the complaints of customers, it got changed again to its previous color. But the company changed the color of the interface slowly and subtly with time, which the customers didn't notice. So it started out being a dark and glaring yellow color. For what that's worth. Okay, the answer is back rub.
The answer is back rub?
Yep.
And the question is, what do I like to get?
Yeah, that's it. The answer is, that's what Google was originally called, back rub.
Seriously?
Seriously, back rub.
Wow.
They collaborated on a web crawler. So they thought, okay, web crawler, back rub. It didn't work, so they changed that. So you're not doing well on eBay. Okay, I bet you get this one. What was the first product ever sold on eBay? It was
laser pointer. Bang.
A what?
Broken laser pointer.
No, it was a broken printer, laser printer, not pointer.
No, it was a laser pointer.
Nope, you're wrong.
Look it up. Look it up. It's a laser.
I'm looking at it. Holds a credit. And like always, it is remembered for. The first thing that got sold on eBay was a broken laser printer. There have been misprints all over that say pointer. It was printer. For testing purposes.
That's crap. No one shipped
For testing purposes, the company owner himself thought of selling the broken laser printers laying around his house. At first, for the first week, it did not sell with a base price of $1. But during the second week, it got sold for a bidding price of $14.83. So that's all been typo. Laser pointer. It was a laser printer, and the owner did it. So now your last question of the day. Oh, this is interesting. eBay, and now Google has a lot of languages that you can speak to it in. I'm just going to read you this one because it's too good. Gurney morny Bernie do who knew. Yes, it's true. In 2001, Google got in touch with its inner yodeling Muppet and opened the gates for search queries and results in Swedish chef lingo. So orgaborgadorg, you can speak Swedish chef lingo and it will search. Somebody has called bork, bork, bork to be technical. Other joke languages you can tickle Google's algorithm with include Elmer Fudd, Pirate, Klingon, Pig Latin, and of course, Hacker, AKA 1337 Speak 34K. So I didn't know that. So I'm going to try at some point speaking Pig Latin and in Google search and see if it works. Says it will, says it will. So anyway, today we have been informed of news. We have been updated on a couple of our experiments. And most importantly, we have been educated on how to win Jeopardy if the category is weird stuff about eBay and Google. Can you beat that?
Well, there's no more bad smells, so that's been better.
Okay, you know what? Your voice is going away. This is really weird, Thomas. It looks like you're going into the light because the light's on the top of you and it's kind of coming down. You're kind of going up into the, yeah, that's a good one, going into the light. So, hey, tomorrow I'm going fishing again. I'm going fishing at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be back in the afternoon. Let's catch up tomorrow afternoon and see if you're up for flipper. You're gone, Thomas.
I'm going fishing. Okay.
You're gone. I think he's fading away. You're like a bad dream. Okay, well, we may or may not be back tomorrow, but this has been kind of enjoyable. I know I haven't had to mute Thomas once. He's muted himself. So drive safe, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.